everybody, and welcome to Malt Music or Whiskey Reviews. I am Eric. On the bar for today, another independent bottled single malt scotch for Indie April. Balblair, 21 years old, bottled by Gordon and MacPhail. As always here on the channel, nose, taste, finish review. This whiskey's coming your way. I'll tell you a bit about the value, give you my final thoughts, final score, leave you with the malt musing. But first, do take a moment, if you have yet to, smash that subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss these reviews. I drop them every Friday here on YouTube. And it will get you notifications for my Tuesday happy hour every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, streaming live here on YouTube. Okay, so Balblair is a Highland distillery. Not one of the bigger names in Scotch, but if you've been around drinking Scotch for a while, you've definitely come across it. They recently went through a huge rebranding and revamp, moving away from vintage statements to just age statements. So this bottle in particular, this is bottled by the Gordon and MacPhail. Gordon MacPhail has been around since 1895. They are an independent Scotch malt bottler. And like some of the other ones, they also own a distillery that is putting out their own unique product. That distillery being Ben Romick in the Speyside region, one of my favorite single malt distilleries over recent years. But this Gordon MacPhail in particular is a part of what's called the MacPhail collection. This was, I think, released in 2016, 2017, so it's been around for a little bit now. The whiskey itself is bottled at 43% ABV. Now, as if you were following the recent videos I've been doing on independent bottlings in April, you know, one of the things I mentioned is that oftentimes with independent bottlings from distilleries, you are getting a more cask strength natural product, non-chill filtered natural color, and usually in the higher ABVs. Not the case with the one we're looking at today. Despite the 21-year age statement, which is very exciting, this is only bottled at 43% ABV. And, you know, it makes me wonder if this collection was designed to just be like an introductory, more modestly priced range that they had put out for folks to get their hands on and try things. 43% being a bit more palatable, and of course that'll make sure that the whiskey's a little bit cheaper. It also does not say anything on here about chill filtration or natural color. When it comes to these independent bottlings, it is almost always the case that they are not chill filtering, and it is natural color. However, we don't know for sure on this one because it doesn't say anything on it, and with that 43% ABV, it does make me a little suspicious. Okay, so that is the 101 on Gordon MacPhail and Balblair. Now, since this is a 21-year-old whiskey, I've had this sitting here in the glass for, well, just around 20 minutes. As some in the whiskey world will say, a minute in the glass for a year in the cask. That's kind of the way you want to do it. Allows oxygen to kind of open up this whiskey a bit, let it settle down. You'll get the better experience out of it. So I've had this sitting here for just about 20 minutes. And while we don't quite know the color, we also don't know what it's been aged in. My suspicions are it's just American oak ex-bourbon cask, but it doesn't look like they have any shear in here, but you never quite know. So there you go. So all in all, a little suspicious of a bottling here. Not exactly a craft presentation. Let's see how the whiskey is. Okay, here we go on the nose. So right away, the nose, quite complex and very, very potent. We have a lot of fresh fruit, green apples, pear, and honey. It's okay, Winston. The whiskey cat has decided to come on in here. Let's see what he has to say about the Balblair really quick. Oh, come on up, buddy. What do you think? Balblair 21? Still can't find a whiskey for this guy. All right. You are getting some herbal notes. Just kind of like a grassy, almost like maybe parsley type thing, a little bit of a bitter herb. Really warming, nice kind of rounded oak, not very dry, not very oaky, not very potent. Hints of vanilla. Maybe even a little bit of tea. As odd as that sounds. It's really, we're looking at kind of a sweet, herbal, fresh whiskey. A bit on the delicate side. Okay, let's go in for this first neat taste. Wow. Wow. That is a huge, huge flavor palette. It is still going. Boy, for something that is just 43% ABV, this thing packs some serious flavor. Starting from the top on the sweet side, fruit. It's slight berry notes. There's some green apple again, a little bit of melon, a bit of pear. On the sweet side, still honey, slight vanilla note, little toffee. Ooh, really nice long development here. Oak spice comes in a bit there on the back, but it is very rounded. It is very subtle, and it gives way to some slight kind of like cinnamon stick, almost like a little bit of chai, a bit of tea, nutmeg, bit. And then this nice long finish. It's a kind of creamy finish. It's a bit of a dry finish too. Trust me, those things do both work together right here. I'm getting hints of vanilla. There's a little bit of a kind of just a sweeter red fruit kind of note. Wow. I almost want to say there's a slight almost sandalwood kind of like Mizunara oak kind of thing, just kind of in the background. And then very subtly, there is a fresh mintiness. And it is not strong like a peppermint kind of thing. It doesn't dominate the palate. It's just kind of accenting everything. Really, really nice. I'm going to do one more quick neat sip here. Soft, elegant, but substantial mouthfeel on this. Banana too. Pineapple. That oak cask, get a little bit of dark chocolate as well. Wow, just a lot happening here. This whiskey's quite a journey. Okay, so this is only 43%, one. And two, it is just 21 years old. So older a whiskey gets, tends to be a bit more delicate. So we are not going to drown it with water. I'm going to just literally do 2 small drops of water on this. Let's see what else happens. Slight earthiness coming through now. Like potting soil. There's almost a bit of funk to it as well, like a Dunnage Warehouse type note. Wow. The nose has changed a lot. So much happening. This whiskey is evolving in the glass as we drink it. I'm going to make sure I coat this really nice. Get a couple more noses here. There's that slight mint. Again, with water, fresh fruit, sweet fruit. You got kind of sweet, subtle nose from bourbon cask, herbal, and earthy. So more of a savory, sweet savory, maybe a little bit of sweet sour even. We go with water. All right, buddy. Wow. So the water does make it a bit more drying on the palate. And I think if there's one thing that's putting me off of this whiskey a little bit, it's just how kind of intense the dry oak note is. It's not necessarily tannic, it's just very intense. But those subtleties coming through, by really good. Wow. Okay. Whew. This is quite a journey. All right, let's talk value. This is an old bottle. This came out in 2016. So finding this on the shelf these days, probably gonna be pretty difficult at your local liquor store. If you do, average value is probably around $130 to $150 USD. If that's the case, I'd buy on site. Otherwise, you're probably looking at secondary market prices, which may be pushing over $250, which I still think is probably a decent price for considering this is a 21-year-old whiskey. So I'm going to go medium high on value here, assuming that you don't get gouged too much in secondary market or auctions on something like this. Okay, final thoughts. Wow, what a whiskey. That's basically my top line on this one. Really, really good stuff. Amazing that at only 43% what this whiskey is able to do. I think it actually is, there's a really, really nice balance between spirit and cask on this. Great flavor, great price. And really, for an independent bottling in this MacPhail's collection, which I think can be a little hit or miss, this one is definitely a hit. This is going to be up there with one of my favorite whiskeys that I've tasted here in 2022. I can tell you that right now. So my final score on this is going to be a 4.25 out of 5. So I would look for this one if you can, and if you can get your hands on it, all the better. I would grab it. So 4.25 out of 5 for the Balblair, 21 years old. Gordon and MacPhail's collection. With that, I'll kick you on over to your malt musing. And as always, see you next time here on Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. Slash.